All right, jumping in head first, like a
Splash.
human slash robotic motivated person. I'm pumped about this movie, and it was chosen by Goose. Welcome to Shenema, Absolute Shun,
Woo.
Absolute Shenema. Watching the movie, and I think it was great to kick it off right after Mad Max Fury Road. I'm here with the chooser of this movie, chosen by Goose
Howdy.
Pelopirko.
That's right.
With Louis as well. Hey, it's Louis
Ha!
and Mr. Plowson.
Hello.
um, well, I mean, I wish there was some elegant way to go into this and some segues I thought of, but why'd you choose this movie, Goose? Blade Runner, old school, Final Cut, and we lost Goose already. Well,
Yeah, check your mic mute
Oh,
settings.
you're right. Jesus, I was launching into a whole thing there. So, Blade Runner, gents, I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of my first cyberpunk movies. That kind of the flying car, gigantic tall buildings, motif, that dystopian kind of capitalist future that we all see where mega corporations take over, right? So this is the final cut that we chose this time, which is the actual director's cut. Uh, the theatrical release was in '82, and the execs didn't have enough confidence in Ridley Scott's original edit to put it out the way it was, and so they did a re-edit where they added a happy ending, more or less, and a voiceover from Harrison Ford through the movie, which it was a choice that was made. Whatever. We're not here to talk about that. They released what they called the director's cut in '92, 10 years later, as like a 10th anniversary thing, where they let our director get back at it, but they didn't give him final edit, and apparently the VFX and the sound wasn't remastered. It was kind of just run off of the original tape. So the final cut came out early 2000s, excuse me, 2006, something like that. Anyway, it's been a while, obviously, but Ridley Scott actually went back, remastered the VFX and the sound and the lighting, the color, the whole thing for the movie, and he got to re-add a unicorn scene, which we'll get to, and a anyway, and got to use the ending that he wanted. There was some interesting allegories in there. So I chose this though because it was one of the very first types of these movies that started a love of sci-fi for me. Like the near sci-fi, like Demolition Man, and like those kinds of corny '90s, slightly advanced,
mhm.
just north
Judge
of next
Dredd, like
Judge Dredd.
just in our grasp,
Exactly.
but still, like, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Um, exactly. So, I found a love for all of those that really kind of started with this movie, and I thought it was a nice juxtaposition to pick one of my favorites as opposed to, hey, let's go with the art house stuff at the beginning this time around, in contrast to Mad Max and George Miller, right, and his bombastic style there. This was, something that I also liked about it, but also have a hard time with on this movie is how long and lingering a lot of the shots are. Like he really likes to establish mood with setting, and I have a hard time actually just sitting down and kind of taking the movie in as itself without distracting myself
Hmm.
because of that. Like 2001 is also another movie of mine that's a favorite, but also is a hard sit down and just do
Yeah,
for me because
they really want
brain's
to
too
get
bouncy.
their money worth out of the set design, and we spent a lot on this big screen. Let's use it like for the panning shot.
Right, right. Uh, what did you guys think, Plow Louis? Initial thoughts.
I mean, sci-fi noir. Whoa, mind blowing. Um, I feel like it started that kind of a genre, that futuristic noir, and it was brilliant. Aesthetically, I've always enjoyed this movie since I've seen it, but it wasn't until I got older and was able to appreciate the story that it really started to shine. It's always a good one to watch. definitely a sci-fi classic.
Plow, how you
My
feeling
turn.
about it? Yeah.
I've
Jump
seen
in.
this. Yeah,
Thanks for
right now.
raising your hand.
Yeah, right. Um, I've seen this probably 10 times. It's one of my like favorites. Um, I've always dug it. I always liked you know, the whole angle that it brings up, like what makes us human, what makes us, um, you know, if we're augmented with technology still, are we still human or, that type of thing, right? What else?
What is
Tech.
life?
Yeah, right. What is life? The tech that they show in it and like the aesthetic that they had, um, it's just fucking dope. I loved it. I remember watching. I think I first saw it like in the early '90s on VHS, and I was just like, "This is cool as hell," right? Like, I've never been like a huge fan of. Not saying I don't like Star Wars or anything like that, but
Hmm.
I I've never been like a huge cult follower of the Star Wars stuff, right? It's always been, oh, it's a good movie, but this is like one of those things that I've always kind of liked, like the tying in with the computers and everything like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, great film.
Yeah.
Great. So, how about
Yeah.
you, Smurf? You got any initial thoughts there, buddy?
Yeah, so similar. Latched onto this movie early. It always stuck out as a kid. I didn't appreciate it as a kid, but in college freshman year, our professor assigned us the book and the movie at towards the end. And, you know, being a college kid, I skimmed through the book, did myself a disservice. But then we watched the movie and I was like, yeah, this movie's solid. Like this is really good. And I always appreciated that he did that. He always picked up on the nuances and made sure that there was a reason we're doing this in English class, But since then, this is probably my fourth time seeing it since college, and man, yeah, it has an easy watch. It's got a lot of blue, cool tones. It was kind of vaporwave before vaporwave was established. Uh,
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
uh, I, I'll get into it later, but the set design was good as far as being like you said, not too far futuristic, but really cluttered. Like they like the street and like the places they were in was just felt really real with the build up and clutter they had, and his gumshoe detective noir feel was on point. Decker's cool, but yeah, really solid. Uh
I believe it took place in 2019. I might be wrong, but
November of 2019 in Los
okay.
Angeles. Yep. And
Smog is a problem, as it is right now in the United States because of California wildfires. How
yeah,
prescient.
yeah.
There's
Well, they
big
open
candle
on.
wildfires right now here in Ohio. Like it's smoky as shit out. Sorry.
is
Wow,
it New
sorry to hear
York
that.
right now, like
Language.
really smoky? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Right now. Mookie.
So the movie opens with a wall of text. Like they aren't bashful about trying, explaining what they're doing on this one. This was one of those early ones I remember seeing too. Huge back in the day, right?
Yeah, they had
But
to
they
establish a wall of text to be like, this was a book. We're just going to show you what we can.
it's
The
like it's
Empire
like
has found the rebellion.
the old Greek chorus.
No.
They get out and they tell you, they set the scene by just kind of telling you what's up. And in this case, the setting is that this Tyrell Corporation, big mega corporation, kind of akin to Amazon today, actually, or one of those kind of guys, built a replicant, which is essentially an artificial human, a robot,
Hmm.
as quote unquote labor, but essentially they were sent to do the dangerous stuff, like space mining and all those kinds of things. Um, and so we open with this idea that the replicants, aren't killed. They're not eliminated. They're retired because they are tools. They are
They were never
not
alive.
This is not
beings.
called
Right,
execution.
exactly.
This is called retirement.
And it's a very stark like way to open a movie. right? Like, because they're just like, all right, well, you've got a slave labor force, and everyone's being all euphemistic about it. uh, so yeah, no, I feel like it suits this really well, kind of right out the gate, because then they give you November 2019, and it's just the cityscape, right? Like it's the endless tall towers, the industrial fires, and the cooling stacks, and just endless,
Hmm.
all the way to the horizon of buildings and lights. A little cab goes flying past in the foreground, with those kinds of special effects. Because again, no CGI back then. Obviously, this is right around the
Old
time
school,
that
yeah.
Dude, all
Empire Strikes
practical
Back.
effects. It's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
amazing.
practical effects. Great, science fiction effects and stuff. But again, just really linger. They linger on the city. They linger on the Tyrell Pyramid with its blue, LED, not even LEDs. There was no such thing as that back then. But these blue stripes of light, highlighting the shape of the whole thing, into like a smoky room with the CEO or one of those guys, right? Like they again very long, lingery. Everyone's smoking. It's a very dingy kind of
Yeah.
thing, but it's a very active background too. Like they again, awesome camera work, awesome special effects.
I like the
Um,
combination of everything's LED, but everyone still smokes. Like this was an 80s movie, like
very much
everyone's gonna
so.
be puffing, and yeah, so yeah, it really touches on like what Plow brought up too. Like at one point, does artificial growth in life become actual life? And Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams really touched on that. Like, where's that
Ah,
line?
Another
And
good movie.
yeah, um,
never seen that one.
so
That's
would you
fantastic
call
then.
this let's get to the test. What's his name? It's not the replicant that's being tested and is kind of like scared, and the guy smoking across
Oh,
from him is
Logan? No.
no, it
I
Holden.
wasn't
know who you're talking
Roy.
about.
Holden is the guy's name.
Yes, and what would you call it, like the Turing test or something? Like they're just asking questions to see how they seem like really innocuous questions, but it's to test if you're a replicant or not.
Yeah, and they're also kind of it's like CAPTCHA, but emotionally speaking, because they're like you're walking through the woods, you look down, you see a squirrel. The squirrel has a nut in its hand. What do you think? How do you feel? Suddenly, fox jumps out, grabs a squirrel by the. I'm making this shit up because like there's a scenario about a tortoise or something like that about it's flipped over on its back. What do you do about? Why did you do that? What did you do that? And it's
Yeah,
just this weird emotional kind of whiplash pressure of how he plays it, which is interesting because you don't know that's really the case at this point. They don't explain much. They're just like they kind of put you in the scene and go. Um, and yeah, no, like we go through the scene and then we end up back on the street with Deckard, eating noodles like that very classic cyberpunk. It's like a noodle cart with a dragon over it. Everything's raining. Everybody's ass to cheek,
You can
squished
tell he's a
together.
regular there.
You can tell he's a regular, and it's like there's this like early '80s sensibility to what future stuff might look like. It's not just '80s clothes thrown on. They've got like extended collars. They've got weird coats, puffy things that were not
a lot
normal
of
back then. Like
layers.
it's yeah, a lot of layers. And they keep going back to the city as a character is one thing I appreciated about it too. Right? They would, you zoom off to a fucking blimp and it's got a big advertisement on the side. You zoom back over here and it's just some noodle cart guy talking to his people. And you
Yeah,
zoom back over here and it's like the side of a building with the rain cascading off and a bunch of people with umbrellas.
yeah. The whole
Right?
skyscraper is projected with or is projecting the Coca-Cola logo. What a ad placement for Coca-Cola in this movie still, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Like what if
Right.
Coca-Cola went under or like did something disgraceful? Like they would have to alter that. Which side thing, now speaking of futurism and like technology, they film movies with blank canvases where ads go so they can lease ad space throughout time and also have targeted ad space for different regions.
How devious.
Yeah. And even though that tech wasn't made in South Carolina, they implemented it in a marketing way to see if it actually would make money and work. And yeah, it did. They like I think it was during a Game Parks game. They like had targeted ads for different regions, and yeah. So if this movie was made now, that side of the building would have been blank, and then the highest bidder would have put their logo there.
Right? Um, so, we get Decker just kind of doing his street level thing, and then Edward James Olmos shows up as Gaff, his partner? Question mark. They don't really explain it much. He's just like, "Come on, get in," and then they go. Right? Like, there's
Mhm.
not like a big thing about it. Um, but they get brought in. We meet. You see this office of very noir, like you said, gumshoe looking thing here, and they end up interviewing Rachel.
Yeah, the doe-eyed
Yeah.
like mystery woman that you want to know
And
more about.
meanwhile, the camera just feeds, like the camera feeds on the atmosphere in the room.
Yeah, yeah. It's not it's hazy, but in a good way, just to show the light projection and like
Yeah.
the colors were definitely deliberate and just a masterpiece, man.
I mean, because yeah, like it's very blue in that section. It's very smoky. Like there's always smoke in front of everybody's faces when they're doing that. And like, but they
Yeah,
also
you're
like
searching
go
to see.
like you said, the camera's chewing, and it's just this boring scene of these two guys talking about the skin jobs, right? Like it's
Yeah,
very
think about watching
sedate
that in the
material.
'80s though. Like, holy shit.
Yep. But but they like bring up the new models of replicants, which apparently becomes a whole plot point that gets introduced. That in that scene we go right back to Coca-Cola, flying through the sky. Zoom in on Eddie James Olmos. Like it's all. I'm actually going back in the background because again, it's hard for me to pay attention to this movie unless if I'm like in the middle of it. But we get this really long interrogation scene where we get introduced to Rachel. It goes back and forth, and you actually get to like see the thing. She seems composed, but there's always these weird. It's just the vibes off, right?
She's she's too perfect in a way. She's responding too much on cue. She seems too unshaken, kind of like this is beneath me. I do this every day. But yeah, Decker's giving her the test, and they kind of time warps, and they finish, and yeah, Deckard says she doesn't know she's a replicant, does she? And Tyrell's like, yeah, it's that good. How many questions? Like 140. Usually takes you like 8 to 10 questions to figure that out. And it was just kind of shown, like you said, like the new, like advanced replicants. And yeah, so that was kind of Deckard and Tyrell, and it was an important scene.
If you think about it, it's kind of like the advances in AI now, right? Like think of the Will Smith eating spaghetti um meme,
Yeah,
right?
the
So
alpha of the
yeah,
commercial AI video,
yeah, right. So
commercially
it's like
available.
that. As they're getting better, more and more stuff is going on.
Yeah,
So at this point in the story, so yeah, they get a job
they
for Decker.
yep.
Feel free to take it away for a second. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there was some other clones or whatever you call them that were on
Replicants.
replicants. Thank you. They were on a colony off world and actually caused harm to humans and revolted. They escaped to Earth because they have a 4-year lifespan, and they're hoping to find a way on Earth to keep it going past 4 years. And so Decker's old boss calls him in. And he's like, "Hey, you're the best. We need you to track these guys down, wipe them out, retire them." And then he goes off on this dark, strange philosophical journey.
I think it isn't this when it He kind of zooms in on the photos to find the earring or jewelry. He does like that recon. I,
That old school computer. Two
dude, I
frames
think
left.
that is the cringiest scene of this whole movie. He's like left, center, right, 6:3 zoom, 45 turn, left, right, and it's all the CRT TV that and it's like the most inefficient way to pan and zoom in Photoshop. Like,
Yep. Well, and they didn't have that kind of technology back then. That
no,
was
they didn't. I give
entirely
it to them.
imagined. It was it's
Yeah,
pretty amazing, honestly.
yeah. It's just that's probably the most dated part of this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we got
For
lucky
sure.
Coca-Cola is still around. Or else it's like,
Oh,
what the
thank
fuck,
God.
Coca-Cola?
I'm a sprunk man myself.
Struggling upstart company.
A
And
bootstrap
then,
garage company. Sorry.
I know, right? We did have a great scene with replicants where we really first get that solid Rutger Hauer with James Hong, who looks like he's 90 back in the early 80s and still looks like he's 90 now. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of interesting diet he's got going on, but good for him. Um, and we get like we don't get much from them, honestly. There's this like, hey, here's replicants. They're big and scary. Look at them bully people, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Condemn
we
them.
get an entirely different set of information or of things with Pris, actually, with the other replicant find her in like the dude finds her in a trash can heap, right, like hiding underneath the garbage there for warmth, and goes on a whole ass journey in the middle of the movie. They find little people. There's a unicorn. It's very dramatic. um, and it really bops back and forth. Like there's a lot of hidden symbolism in the movie as well, especially if you're like a huge movie fanatic. Apparently, they make references to things like Metropolis and other older kinds of movies there too, right?
They had the Millennium Falcon and the Death Star like hidden in the movie, and they reference to it.
Because the special effects teams were the same ones, if I remember correctly. Like it's not like there were a lot of different art house special effects folks.
Yeah, pioneering back then.
Right. But again,
so is this when Deckard finds he goes to the adult entertaining replicant that dances? Or is am I skipping ahead?
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, there are a lot of scenes with Rachel. Like, Rachel follows Deckard back to kind of show a photo of her and her mom, saying, "I'm real, okay, I'm real." And Deckard's like, "Yeah, sure," and he just doesn't buy it. But he doesn't have the heart to tell her, like, "You are a replicant, like your creator told me." And it's this whole like love angle thing, and so there's some criticism about how Deckard kind of Louis C.K'd her, like, "No, you will stay, and we will do this." And
there's some non-consensual kinds.
But she's a replicant. It's okay.
Right. So that's where these questions start.
Yeah, that's when you're like, "Oh, it's a fucking movie," and it exists so that we can shame it, kind of thing, and it was just part of the story.
A little bit. Well, so going back though, that was an interesting part where you saw Deckard like performing the role that he was assigned and hunting down essentially the stripper, the lady of the night with the
exotic
plastic coat
dancer.
Yeah, she worked at the establishment. It was professional. They had running water.
They had a very dramatic jumping through the glass scene, not once but twice. She goes to the glass and then gets on her feet, and it's all very, very slow. And then Deckard shoots her, and then she just goes crashing through more panes of glass. But this one has snow in it.
Yeah, when she runs after questioning and he shoots her, there's just no reaction from the busy street. Like everyone's like, must have been a replicant. But there was like gunfire like feet away from your face, and somebody went through glass. Like,
and a lot of looky-loos start coming around the corner, checking it all out. Like, hey, yo, look at this! It's like,
oh, dead replicant, cool.
Right?
But, man.
Well, and like so he goes back, meets with Eddie Almos again, and or Edward Saint James, no, Edward James Olmos.
Eddie
Jesus,
Olmos,
yeah, Eddie
Yeah,
Olmos.
just call him Uncle Eddie. That's what I do.
I know,
EJ.
right? Well, it's like there's just again there's so much going on in the movie, in the background, people moving around. It feels very alive the
Yeah.
entire time too, like you guys pointed out. But I feel like somewhere around the middle of the movie, about where we're at, you start getting this feeling like there is something very wrong with Deckard, not just like he's a depressed dick, private dick,
Yeah.
right? Like,
He's looking for something, and he's not
Aren't we
happy,
all?
and um, we'll get to that because some roles switch throughout the movie, but we need to introduce the aforementioned four replicants that um
Mm.
that we heard before, that they're supposed to be more advanced. So there's the one that Decker just killed, right? There's
yeah,
Leon that was doing the Turing test in the very beginning that killed the guy
yeah,
that was testing him and escaped. There's, I forget the blonde's name, the
Chris,
really flexible blonde, Chris.
Chris, played
Chris.
yeah,
by Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah,
Yeah, and
yep,
then there's Roy, right? Roy's the leader with the blonde hair. He leader in
Rutger
the
Hauer,
sense he gives the
Yeah,
answers. He seems a bit more focused on where they're
the
going.
great Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, he
Rest in
he played
peace.
it so good.
Roy
He
Betty.
played a really creepy guy that kind of slugged around, but then he can move like really erratic out of nowhere because he's like a robot. He's a replicant, so he can just be creepy and then have explosive energy. So
yep. Well, I was reading a little bit about that. Apparently, Rutger Hauer brought a lot of interesting nuance to his character throughout the film,
yeah,
and the stuff around that. He was very passionate about this movie. Apparently,
yeah,
Yeah,
showed.
um,
them Europeans. They
the
like to
famous
get
scene
in
at the
it.
very end that we'll talk about. He apparently improved it. Like he just kind of came up with
Wow, that was
Tears in the
amazing
Rain.
and
the Tears in
poignant.
the Rain line. Exactly. Apparently, that was his improv. So like, kudos
Yeah,
to. And
that
he's
made
only
the
on
movie.
screen for like 10 minutes tops. Like he is not on screen much for this movie actually. Like they
Yeah,
spend more time
maximize
with
your minutes.
right. Well, they spend more time with like Rachel and Decker, and through the a solid like 10-15 minute chunk there of just it's about them now and this weird relationship, but also Deckard's falling apart. He's like bleeding from the mouth, and she's walking in with sad teary mascara, right? Like it's very oof heavy.
Yeah.
Um, but
Um,
like, go ahead.
I was just gonna bring them to, or I guess bring Pris to what's his name, Haddock or Mc, McDougall. What was his Sebastian? Sorry, Sebastian. She plays like a confused, scared, homeless girl, and she
Yep.
runs into Sebastian and gets all like, "I'm pretty hungry, Sebastian." And he's like, "Well, I can, come back with me." And really, it's a grift. She's just trying to find a nice place to bring her other replicants. Um, and it's a bit more of a planned grift. We'll find out, but yeah, she's there with him. Sebastian is this guy. He's what 25, but he looks 48, and he has some kind of
They
aging
aged
disease.
quick at then, yeah.
Yeah,
2019.
and but it plays into it because once she brings Roy, the leader of the replicant uh special replicants, he kind of
Mhm.
tugs at Sebastian's heartstrings, like, we're not much different, you know, our candles are burning faster, you're aging, we're
Yep.
dying, we're supposed to be around longer, Sebastian, like this isn't right. And turns out Sebastian knows Tyrell, which, you know, it wasn't a coincidence that they happened upon Sebastian. He
Right.
gets Sebastian to lead him to Tyrell, and I just I'll say when they're on their way to Tyrell and they have that Wait, was it when Sebastian was going to see Tyrell, or was it when Deckard was going to see Tyrell? They have the chess game. Like they start to move chess pieces with their voice, like Queen to B7. Um, was that in this
Oh
movie,
yeah,
or did it
yep.
get cut out?
Yeah,
Like
it's
they're
in
like,
there.
yeah, I really enjoy that because like they could not see each other for months, but then they still have the same chessboard. And then as soon as they see each other after weeks or months, they just pick right back up with the same game. Um,
Yeah, the years-long chess
yeah,
game.
like I thought I was fascinated as a kid.
Just displaying their retention, their memory is, if it's digital, it's basically perfect.
yeah, it, yeah, it
Um,
kind of inspired how I do projects. Maybe it's like a manic depressive thing, but like work hard a lot on it and then take a break from it, come back to it. But
mm, mm.
yeah, pretty cool concepts. And um, I mean, it's about the crescendo with Deckard is hot on the the rogue replicant's trail. He's already been to Tyrell, had a combo with him, and the replicants found Tyrell and they're confronting him. They're meeting their maker, as they would say. Um, pretty epic scene, and they start to philosophize about what what makes human. You've been around longer than me, but I've seen more stuff. I've experienced
Mhm.
more. Um, you know, my life was more compact with experiences. You just lived a slow human life. So
I really actually loved how they spent some time listening to the characters, right? Like they
mm,
spent some time with these people, letting them explain where they're coming from, these replicants, as opposed to just making them the default bad guy because, oh no, robot's gone rogue, right? Um, but yeah, no, we get to Tyrell where I mean, this Poindexter motherfucker, like he's in his bedroom and he's got like, radio equipment and he's got all this kind of crazy
everything's
stuff that
his
looks,
toy because he has money.
yeah, yeah. Even his chess set was like way overly elaborate. It wasn't just dolls. It wasn't just carvings. It was, our little figures there. Um, But yeah, no, it's interesting to keep kind of going back to, well, A, what's human, right? Like, and B, in this sense, is their experience any less valid? Is their life any less valid in that sense? Which, you know, I think Philip K. Dick was one of the only guys that really explored that sort of topic before, and like Heinlein and Asimov, right? Like, not very many people have dug into what makes an automation alive, kind of a thing there as well. So it's always fun, interesting there to that sense. But like these guys aren't robots either. They're biological creations. They talk about like
Yeah,
proteins and replications and that kind of stuff. At
yeah,
least
I'm pretty sure they have organs, albeit artificial. But
yeah.
Yeah, they can go down by a gunshot.
yeah, and then when they go down, they flare around like a fucking hyperactive fish. Like when Prish got shot. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah. Let's say that after the philosophy and talking to his maker, he fucking crushes Pyro's skull in his hands, gouges out his
Yep.
eyeballs with his thumbs, and
Thumbs through the eyes. It
yeah,
was a great scene.
and then they go back to Sebastian's, and Deckard's there. He's tracked him down, and Chris is in her. She's kind of living out her. If she did have a childhood, her childhood dream of being a dancer, and she's dressed as a ballet artist and doing some fucking caprique, whatever it's called, caparella, when you dance and
Capoeira.
fight.
I mean, very acrobatic. Like that's one of the things I appreciated
Capicola.
is they really tried to show, what that was
Capricoa,
like.
yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
pal.
Yeah.
Real
In a
meaty
room full
dance.
of
Coca-Cola. All right.
in a room full of gigantic dolls, marionettes, and mannequins. Right. It was this really creepy
They're
kind
action
of place.
figures. They're collectibles.
Dolls.
And then she flips around and Decker just shoots her Just like Deckard shot that one guy with the sword. Sorry, that was
Uh,
another Indiana
Harrison
Jones.
Ford, Indiana Jones. How dare you,
Harrison Ford
sir?
in this other movie. Like, you can dance, cool, let me shoot you. You got a sword, cool, I'm gonna shoot you. Like,
That shot in Raiders of the Lost Ark came because he had diarrhea on the set that day. So instead of doing the long drawn out fight, they're like, all right, just shoot him.
Apparently, it wasn't just diarrhea. It was like almost
the
deathly, like he
Boubans.
was on death's door, kind of a thing when they made that scene.
Wow.
Um,
He's like, I'm never coming to this country again. But yeah,
right.
when he shot Pris, she kind of went to malfunction mode, and it was really eerie seeing her flop around and wheel. And she kind
Yeah,
of went
I
in
she's like
mean,
panic
short
mode because she's
circuiting it
like, I'm
out.
finally gonna die.
but she kicked his fucking ass though. Like she did
Yeah,
flips, she jumped on him, she did acrobatic stuff
yeah,
until she like went showing off and he shot her.
exactly. She got too into it, or maybe he was a fast learner. Like, look for the flip, shoot then.
The
Well,
original title of the story was, I believe, "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Oh yeah, yeah, that sounds familiar.
I believe,
The Andrews
but
Dream
that
of
doesn't sound
Electric
for
Sheep.
like a cool movie. Like you're not gonna watch that.
well, and again, that's based on Philip K. Dick's work. I think this might be based on his stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, that dude was a bloody prophet from the '60s and '70s. Lost his fucking mind though. He wasn't around very long after he tuned into whatever he tuned into.
He was a psychonaut.
Yeah,
He
you're right. It
was. He was.
the cover says Blade Runner, and then in parentheses, smaller below that, to Andrew's Dream and Electric Sheep.
But the original story was like the interview scene where they just go back and forth with these weird emotional kind of stories. Like
And the
the interview
concepts.
techniques came from that book for sure. But it's been a long time since I've read it, if I'm being real honest. Um, yeah, so we got to Priss, and then finally the big climax scene with Rutger Hauer. This guy's falling apart, and then trying to make his revolutionary points there. Right, he's still trying to
Yeah, he's trying to
get everything
not give
across.
up and also preach to the end and make sure he stays true to his convictions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was, I mean, yeah, he fights like an android, just throwing himself through walls, putting his head through kitchen walls just to get at you, like not fighting like a real human. And Deckard's keeping up. Yeah, great lines and choreography from Roy, and um, yeah, it's one of the things that made the movie. This whole fight scene and back and forth, and this is where it's a stark example of Deckard is kind of the bad guy now, hunting and killing these you know things that just want to live.
Yeah, the
And
turn has tabled.
yeah, and turntables DJ'd back to Roy, who is saying, I'm alive. I have memories that will die with
I'm
me, and I will
alive,
mourn
so are
those
you.
memories before death and all these
Yeah.
things. And he becomes human and um,
Like you'll never
redeemable.
understand the things I've seen and things I've experienced, and it's sad that
Hmm.
it dies now.
Yeah,
Which
and
I
when he
found very similar to Dr. Manhattan's speech from the movie and comic
true,
Watchmen,
Mm.
where he says something, things that humans could say never happened. A quark goes in and out of existence. But it was very similar to that. And
yeah,
the comic
Tech
and that
ships.
movie came out around the same time. I mean, it was earlier 80s. I just wondered if one of them took its inspiration from the other.
Probably. Speaking of like taking inspiration from other things, a previous movie we watched, right, Heavy Metal, that art style
Mm.
and things like that, which
Mhm.
is based on the French comic series,
yeah,
also can be like that whole 70s vibe stuff from the heavy metal side of the house is pretty apparent in like Ridley Scott's vision in this film. Like a lot of these stylings and things like that can be
Good
seen.
point. Yeah, I never really thought about it, but yeah, they're definitely of the same ilk.
Yep.
Kind of like cool, dark, intelligent
Yeah.
sci-fi.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Not for
dark,
kids.
cluttered noir.
Not for kids. But
Cluttered
we end
noir.
up in like a climax scene shortly where Rutger Hauer, like the Roy's hand, it starts glitching. Right, like I said, he's been breaking down this entire fight,
Yeah.
and he gives himself a goddamn stigmata, like right through the fucking wrist to solve
Oh
the
yeah, that
problem.
was cool. And he starts fighting with it. Like he grabs Deckard's arm
Yep.
with the nailed in stigmata.
And then punches his face through a tile wall just to really emphasize this guy is not fucking human.
Yeah.
The
But
crazed
then
look on his.
when Decker's hanging there and he starts to fall, he saves him,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
was brilliant.
And then Roy's on his knees and he says his famous line. He's something like, "These memories would die with me, just like tears in the rain." And it's raining and he dies. And Deckard has this great look on his face. He doesn't move, and you can tell like he's now convinced, like, I just watched a living thing die. Like that wasn't artificial, that wasn't a replicant, that was something that had life, enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and like was scared to not have it anymore. So
He saw the light
Again,
go out.
superb acting on Rutger Hauer's part. You can see both the fear, but also the adrenaline. Like this dude worked himself up in that role, and it
yeah.
really shows how like just the emotion of all of it.
Yeah, Harrison Ford was just shocked by the acting. He wasn't even supposed to look like that at the end. Like, holy shit, I'm a bad actor. No.
Right. And I mean, but it's a very long, involved fight. That set piece. It's like 10 minutes. It's just back and forth in the inside, outside, and the roof, and the all the things, man. Um, and
Very well done.
we get to that point where he kills the. I mean, he dies, gets away, and I mean, there's not much to it at the end. He sees Rachel. He sees this unicorn. What is it? The unicorn origami,
Is
I
a
guess is the best
trinket
word I'm
or
looking
like
for.
it's something
Oh
on
yeah,
the
the
bottom.
origami.
From
Origami
Gav.
Oh
unicorn.
yeah.
And that's supposed to be the final hint that final spoilers here. Ridley Scott believed that Deckard
Deckard.
was a replicant,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Like that
Uh-huh.
was his. But that was the reason why the voiceover didn't work for him as the director, was because he wanted that ambiguity. Like at no point did he want that specified. No, Deckard's human, and this, whatever, right? Like,
Yeah, but the true vision is it's a bit open ended, but it's leaning towards replicate. Like
Yeah.
it's a good feel like he left there for it. So
Do they not address that in the follow-up movie, the sequel,
they
2049?
do, and they act like he was human, if I remember correctly. That Rachel
the
was a replicant
studio's
too.
like, we'll have our way. Well, I will say
I still haven't seen that follow up.
I heard it's really good. The cinematography like does its justice to the original.
Mhm.
It's they have a lot of like natural tricks that aren't like just CGI. It's cinematographer is Roger Deakins, and
Ah, word.
he he's known for like really natural, like creative things. But yeah, if you watch the what is it, Blade Runner 2049,
2049.
Yes. Yep.
49, 47, 40 something.
30
It's
years later.
36, 24.
I liked it.
36.
If you like the original, I would
Pan
recommend
45.
checking out the sequel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got some stuff on my plate. I'm still gonna see the follow ups to Mad Max Fury Road, and now the follow ups to this.
See, you know what my favorite part about like what Blade Runner did, right? It's Blade Runner, you can tell heavily influenced the original Terminator.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Get a leather
absolutely
jacket.
Standard.
love.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
the coolest
And T2
character was
was great,
Roy.
but
Deckard's
Yeah.
cool too, but Deckard had like a duster.
No, it's the whole symbiotic, like human and flesh merged, the real,
Yeah,
type of thing.
I agree.
So, good movies. good movies. Mad
It was
Max also came
good. I
around
still
that
think
time.
Rachel's beautiful. They made her look like a doe-eyed doll on purpose. And it's like, how could she not be fake?
But she's so like just on point, very quick, very clever, very
Yeah,
intelligent, emotionally available, and
calculated.
also, really solid characterization. And again, too, a lot of nuance that you don't see in a lot of modern sci-fi. If I'm being real honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
Deckard
yeah,
looked cool. Deckard just had the gumshoe of the future look and had a buzz cut that was serious business.
made trench coats seem cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, great film, Goose. Anyone have any? I did this last time. The floor is open for last words. So I'm not going to call out names, but anyone want to add anything?
I would say that this is a sci-fi classic that kind of set the standard and influenced movies of the time and going forward. It's especially cool because it's pre-CGI, so everything was practical and just ingenuity. And it's this sci-fi noir built around this beautiful, poetic philosophy question: what is life? Maybe
I
don't hurt me
think,
anymore.
therefore, I might maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe I am.
I am what I am's. Great Popeye. Um,
Those are my final thoughts.
My final
it's
thoughts
just a good
are,
movie, man.
yeah, like really great. Um, Set the tone for the really dark and neon futuristic movies we enjoy now.
That's
And
cyberpunk.
yeah,
Hmm.
the vaporwave, cyberpunk, altered carbon. I bring that up a lot on this podcast, but it took a lot of great things from previous sci-fi's to make another noir type future thing with. I mean, it's a lot like Blade Runner. They have the replicants are called well, you could upload your
Bill,
conscience to a disk and
PC.
then trade disk around into different skin jobs, sleeves, and just float your conscience around different bodies and future stuff. So another shout
Are you
out to
just going
Altered
to assign
Carbon.
us season one of these days, Smurf? Just gonna be like, all right, y'all get the whole season.
That's ironic because season two kind of fell off sadly, but yeah,
We'll talk about that later. But that being said, yes, one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Also, still very hard for me to sit through. I'm going to say that over and over again because, like, all these picks of mine, man, some of them get very hard to sit
yep.
through if you're not like really engaging with it. That's a very important part of these movies. Um, yeah, no, I think very pertinent today due to kind of the themes of questioning what intelligence actually looks like, what kind of postmodern humanity looks like in that sense of not necessarily transhumanism, but what do the products of our current industry and technology look like? And when they start resembling humans, how do we treat them? Right?
Hmm. Yeah, what that's down the line, but it's going to be relevant. Like if we have
Yeah,
artificial life and presence, do they have rights? Like
I mean,
skin jobs are coming.
we just
I
recently
got one the other day
built
actually.
like a single cell or multi-celled organism like life, actual life, built it from proteins, built it from kind of scratch essentially very recently. So to kind of date this particular podcast, amazing stuff happening out there, and we should be asking ourselves these questions about uh, what it is that what responsibility do we have to the things we create, and what responsibility do we have to the world around us that we don't abuse those things in a way that harms the world around us, you know?
You
Agreed.
talking about being responsible with new power? No, no, sir. We're gonna use it for
We don't
war
do
and
that.
sex. Yeah. Flower, I kind of cut you off. Are you have you final thoughts?
I don't know anymore. I forgot. I had
Yeah,
one. It's gone.
it
Like
was too
tears in the rain.
finale. Full. Oh man. Well, thumbs up all around. Another absolute cinema contribution. Um, yeah, I should really be prepared with who's going to be next. Let me see if I can search real fast.
Roll a dice.
Yeah, but two
Ah,
really
it's
good
fine.
sci-fi films in a row. I mean, Mad Max is like the real like everything's gone. There's just a desert, and then Blade Runner's like there's too many things. There's a big city. Help.
But there's not enough for everybody. Actually, here we go. I'm going to roll a dice, and Plow and
I already
Louis,
have
you
it.
both are
I already
here.
have it
No, he's
somewhere.
got it.
I just gotta
He's got
find
a
it.
he's gonna-
Sorry.
machine. He built a
Oh,
device.
you have a magic machine for that.
No, it
Okay.
already spread out to all the things,
He's
and
got a replicant who tells him.
it made it like the beginning of the season, and it was just Goose, and next is TK. So we're gonna watch Backdraft again.
Backdraft. The backdrafting.
Part 2.
And
The
I'm
front
gonna go
draft.
ahead and end the stream. That was fun, guys. Thank you. And oh yeah, hopefully Danny gets in town safely. Everybody else has their excuse, but Dabney's traveling and the airport's bullying him, and no one cares about that. I'm gonna stop talking.